Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Roydell Clarke and welcome back to the channel. In this video today, we are going to speak about why a child's room will always be full. That is the topic for today's video. So let's get into it. All right, so this is a concept I thought about for a while. And the reason, and I'll kind of tell you why I believe this story is important. I think this video is more for people that intend on being parents. I think this video is also for current parents now, particularly parents with younger children. I think this is an insight that would be of interest to them, right? And so that's kind of where I'm coming from, and obviously educators as well too. I think you can expand this to teachers, anyone within that space dealing with younger people, or really people at all that have a very high level of ambition and goal and daring to them, that they really want to change the world, impact the world. And yeah, so let's get into it. So this is a story, well, not a story, but here's what I think. I believe a child's room will always be full. And what I mean by that is, I'll tell you what I'm not speaking about. I'm not speaking about food or anything like that. I'm talking about the mind of a child, the room of a child, the sanctuary of a child, which is their play place, their room, where they usually are going to spend a lot of their time. And I'm saying this because over my years, I've been able to have quite a diverse experience, meet a lot of different people, very eclectic group of not only friends, but acquaintances, people that I've really been able to have, very deep level of conversation and understanding of where they came from and why it is they do what they do. And, some of the things that influence them. A lot of them coming from very financially stable, very well off backgrounds. A lot of them, not so much the case. Some of them very, low income, middle class sort of deal. So, in having many of these different stories, at some point in time, I must have reflected on all these different stories, and it made me think about this. And that is a child's room, their play place, their sanctuary. Those that have very little financially, their room was not filled with 10,000 toys, the latest gaming system, the the best type of mats on the floor as well to play, this big space backyard or things like that. But if you had siblings, or even if you were an only child, a lot of the times, or had one other sibling, a lot of the times, that play place, and I'm sure we can all recollect some of these stories, that room was full. It could have been the light, and I want to start off with those that had nothing physically. When we look at it as parents from an adult perspective looking in, we often think that, wow, they didn't come from much, that their room needs to be full. Or we as parents who didn't come from much, we feel like we need to fill up the room because we essentially become the parents or the people that we would have wanted when we were younger, and do the things that we would have wanted when we were younger as well too. So if we have children, we want to give them all the best things, because why? Say, for example, we didn't have all the best things. So we want to give them the best things so that they have it. But if you remember back to our own childhood, if you remember back to these different experiences, you'll remember that that room wasn't empty when you were a kid. That closet wasn't empty when you were a kid, when the ghost and the boogeyman wasn't there. The underneath your bed wasn't empty when you thought, again, the boogeyman or some sort of goblin or something wasn't there. The bathroom wasn't, or your basement wasn't empty when the lights are off. You thought that XYZ, right? And I'm saying this really to speak to the idea of the imagination of the child. And what we should not do is feel bad necessarily if we are giving our all, but we don't have all the physical elements. And that's usually not the best case. Because I remember, and I'm sure a lot of other people have had these experiences, if social media has done nothing but show us that other people were not as unique as we thought in the way that we grew up and our interests and perspectives and how things go. The ground was lava. The ground was lava. We had a blanket on the ground, or maybe it was the rays of the sun through the window. through the windows thing, and that was something else. And we saw the dust particles there, and we couldn't touch the ground, and we had to throw something on the ground to jump on it to go to the next, and things like this. And I say this because a child's room will always be full, whether it's full because you have given them all the latest gadgets. And if you come from that, great. I'm not necessarily dousing a flame on that experience, right? There's no need to deprive your kids of great things, top of the line things, if the means are there and it betters their future. It enables them, enables their future, not being an enabler, but enables their future, their development, right? Why not? I'm not against that. What I am saying is, if they don't come from, or if you don't have those means, if you're a parent or a teacher, things like that, use what you have, right? Play with that. And one of the things I can, as a personal anecdote to me, I have many siblings. I have 5 siblings. I have 2 others that were two of my sisters that are, one is a year younger than me, the other one's 2 years younger than me. And we used to do this all the time in our basement. Again, creating forts, right? Putting things up here, grabbing a sheet from the thing and throwing that over, and that was our tent, right? And that's where camping out, and it's all those things. So you, as a parent, can facilitate your kid having a full room, whether it's through the means of material or purchase, but do not forget the imagination of a child. Do not forget that we can create this space with this castle, with the lava and all this stuff, with, the forts, or I don't know, whatever it was for you, you can create that, and you can partake in that with your child by creating those things, right? And I think this is also part of the reason why this occurred to me is in watching The Pursuit of Happiness, the movie with Will Smith and Jaden Smith. I think there was a scene where I think they're in the washroom at the train station. Again, I never had that experience, but where the father was creating a story, and it may have been at a different point in the movie, but creating a story, and Jaden was going off thinking about all these things. I remember in The Last of Us, for any of my gamer friends out there, The Last of Us is a post-apocalyptic game that won Game of the Year. Massive appeal. Ended up having an HBO spinoff where it released season 1, great success. And part of the game and the show has a man who had a child prior to the apocalypse happening. Moving forward, ended up meeting this younger child around the same age as his daughter was. And they were at a museum of sorts, and he was replaying the sounds of space, right? I think they had found a cassette tape, and he had brought her into that space, that part of the museum, and reliving that moment, right? Making the most of it. And I think that is ultimately what I'm trying to get to, what I'm wanting to get across in this story, in this idea that I have about a child's room always being full, is to not forget the child in us. Not forget the eyes that we had as a child, the imagination, the mind that we had as a child, to look around and not just see 4 walls, but see the light shine through and see the lava on the ground, to see the fort that can be made by attaching this pole with that pole, right? This chair, if you turn that chair around and grab that from downstairs, then right now we have a full-fledged castle with a gate, right? And a dragon as a protector, right? Not to forget this perspective in mind, because a child's room can always and will always be full, whether it's in a negative side or a scared side, with ghosts and boogeyman and whatever else comes to a child's mind at this time, or it can be full with imagination, wonder, and aspiration. Play doctor if that's what it is. All of that could be present to you, right? Where a spoon is a high-tech incision device, let's just say. Obviously don't go too far with it, but you get my point. So there's that. That's why a child's room must always be full. Hopefully you guys have found this helpful. If you stayed to this point, go ahead and give this video a like. And yeah, I think I'll leave it there. My name is Roydell Clarke. I will see you in the next one. Peace.